They were halfway through their ride when something leapt out of the trees. It knocked one of them to the ground, biting, clawing, tearing. The others had no weapons, but they didn't run. They fought back. And what they did to that animal, no one expected. It was Saturday, February 17th, 2024. 5 women were cycling together near a wooded area in King County, Washington, just north of Seattle. They were part of a women's training team, experienced riders who knew the trail and each other well. One of them was Keri Bergere, a 61-year-old competitive cyclist and endurance athlete. They'd met up for a casual weekend loop through North Creek Trail, planning to ride a few hours before lunch. The route they picked was beautiful but deceptive, quiet, wooded, with long, shaded stretches and dense brush on either side of the path. A perfect place to train, but also, it turned out, a perfect place to hide. The group had been riding for just under an hour when it happened. Out of nowhere, from the tree line, a wild cougar lunged at them. No growl, no sound, just a 6-foot blur of fur and muscle tearing through the air. It struck one of the riders first, tackling her from the side and dragging her off her bike. Before she could even scream, the cougar had its jaws clamped around her face, ripping through her skin and dragging her toward the brush. Blood sprayed across the gravel. The others skidded to a stop in shock. It took a second for their brains to catch up. Then the horror set in. They were under attack. What happened next wasn't instinct. It wasn't panic. It was something else entirely. The other women didn't run. They threw their bikes to the side and charged straight at the cougar. They had nothing. No sticks, no bear spray, no knives. Just their fists, their helmets, and a refusal to let one of their own be killed. The cougar was still latched onto their teammate's face, clawing at her neck and shoulders. But before it could drag her off the trail, one of the women grabbed it by the back legs. Another started beating it with her bike helmet, and Keri, despite being injured, tried to push it away. Quick break. We make videos about real stories that sound made up. From survival to strange, true events, if it actually happened and it's unbelievable, we cover it. So if you're into that, hit subscribe. It helps more than you know. All right, let's get back to the video. It was chaos, screaming, blood, dust. The animal hissed and lunged again, but the women formed a circle around their teammate, blocking it off. Blow after blow rained down, kicks, punches, helmets swinging like war hammers. At one point, one rider was reportedly on top of the cougar, pinning it down with her knees while the others attacked from the sides. Finally, after a brutal 45-minute-long struggle, the cougar stopped moving. They had done it. They had fought off and killed a mountain lion with their bare hands. When emergency responders arrived, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The cougar, a juvenile male, around 9 months old, was dead on the side of the trail. One rider had severe injuries to her face, neck, and hands, and another had torn clothing and defensive wounds. All 5 women were covered in blood. Some theirs, some not. The victim, later confirmed to be Keri Bergere, was rushed to the hospital. She had deep puncture wounds to her cheek, a ripped earring, and heavy bruising. But thanks to the group's immediate response, she survived. Wildlife officers from the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife arrived to assess the scene. In interviews, they confirmed it was a real cougar attack and called the group's survival extremely rare. Most people, they explained, don't survive a cougar attack, let alone fight one off without weapons. Tests on the animal later confirmed it was not rabid, but likely starving. At 9 months old, it was young, probably recently separated from its mother, and desperate enough to go after humans. A wildlife spokesperson said bluntly, "This kind of outcome, it doesn't happen. You don't fight off a cougar bare-handed, let alone 5 of you, and walk away." In the days that followed, news of the attack went viral. Keri gave interviews from her hospital bed. Her face was bandaged, her voice shaky. But her message was clear. She never would have made it out alive if it weren't for the others. "These ladies came up with superhuman strength," she told reporters. "We had no weapons, and they killed that cougar with their bare hands." Online people couldn't believe it. Some called them heroes. Others, mostly animal activists, criticized the killing, but no one could deny the truth. They had faced down a predator, and won. As for the trail, it's open again now, just another patch of woods near the city. But for those 5 women, it'll never be just a bike path again. It's the place where one of them nearly died. And the rest became something else entirely. Real story that sounds made up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. If you want more stories like this, we've got another one waiting for you right here.